Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Prostrations to Ramana, shining as the self in all beings. We will begin today's satsang with a prayer by Sapna Ganesh. This will be followed by the chanting of Muktaka trayam.
दक्षिणामूर्ति सारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमां रमणाचार्य पर्यन्तां वंदे गुरुपरंपरां वंदे गुरुपरंपरां वंदे गुरुपरंपरां शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये आङ्गिकं भुवनं यस्य वाचिकं सर्ववाङ्मयम् आहार्यं चन्द्रतारादि तं नमः सात्विकं शिवम् ॐ नमो भगवते श्रीरमणाय. Namo Ramana to everyone.
Ekamaksharam Hridi Nirantaram Bhasate Swayam Likhyate Katham Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram Hyaham Maham Iti Sakshat Atmarupena Bhati Hridi Vishamanasa Swam Chinvata Majjatava Pavana Chalana Rodhat Atmanishto Bhavatvam Deham Rinmaya Vajjadatmakam Aham Buddhirna Tasyastyato Naham Tattadabhava Shukti Samaye Siddhatma Sadbhavataha Koham Bhavayuta Kuto Varadhiya Drishtvatmanishtatmana Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam Soham Spurtitaya Arunachala Shivaha Purno Vibhati Swayam. Namo Ramana. We will now have the chanting of Upadesa Saram by Ashwini.
Namo Ramana. Vayurodana क्लियते मना जालपक्षिवद्रोदसादनम् चित्रवायवा श्चित्क्रियायुताः शाकयोर्द्वयी शक्तिमूलक लयविनाशने उभयरोदने लयगतं पुनर्भवति नोऽमृतम् प्राणबन्धनात् लीनमानसम् एकचिन्तना नाशमेत्यध नष्टमानसो उत्कृष्टयोगिन कृत्यमस्ति किं स्वस्तिथिं यथ दृश्यवारितं चित्तमात्मना चित्वदर्शनं तत्त्वदर्शनं मानसं तु किं मार्गणे कृते नैव मानसं मार्गार्जवात् वृत्तयस्त्वहं वृत्तिमाश्रिताः वृत्तयो मनो विद्यहं मन अहमयं कुतो बति चिन्वथ ऐपतत्यहं निजविचारणम् अहमिनाशभाज्यहमहं तया स्फुरतिरुत्स्वयं परमपूर्णसत्। नमो रमण।
Namo Ramana. We will now be presenting 3 songs from Ramananjali Sangeetam. The first one will be presented by Dr. Prathibha Sundaresh. The second song will be presented by Savitri Krishnan and Jaisriram Krishnan. The third song will be presented by Revathi Shankar.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. This is a composition of Sri Sadhu Om Swamis, a Kannada translation of the famous song Arunachalathai Parai. ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಸದಾ ಮನವ ಸೆಳೆಯುವುದನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಸದಾ ಮನವ ಸೆಳೆಯುವುದನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಎಂತ ಶಾಂತಗಿರಿದು ಎಂತ ಶಾಂತಗಿರಿದು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಂತರಂಗವನು ಶಾಂತಗೊಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಇಂತು ಶಾಂತಗೊಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಇಂತು ಎನ್ನುವ ಆಸೆ ತರುವುದನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಸದಾ ಮನವ ಸೆಳೆಯುವುದನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ನನ್ನ ಎದೆಯ ಕದ್ದ ರಮಣ ನನ್ನ ಎದೆಯ ಕದ್ದ ರಮಣ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುವರಲ್ಲವೇ ಶಿಖರವೆನ್ನುವ ಕಣ್ಣಿನಿಂದ ಶಿಖರವೆನ್ನುವ ಕಣ್ಣಿನಿಂದ ಬೆಳಗುತ್ತಿರುವನಲ್ಲವೇ ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಸದಾ ಮನವ ಸೆಳೆಯುವುದನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಉರಿಯ ಸುತ್ತುವ ಪತಂಗ ಉರಿಯ ಸುತ್ತುವ ಪತಂಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉರುಳಿ ಅಳಿವ ರೀತಿ ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯ ಸುತ್ತಿ ಚಿತ್ತ ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯ ಸುತ್ತಿ ಚಿತ್ತ ಅದರಲಳಿಯೇ ನನಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಸದಾ ಮನವ ಸೆಳೆಯುವುದನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು ಸದಾ ಮನವ ಸೆಳೆಯುವುದನು ಅಮ್ಮ ನೋಡು ಅರುಣಗಿರಿಯನು
ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತ ಹಾಡಿರಿ. ಜಯ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಗುರುವೇ ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತ ಹಾಡಿರಿ. ಜಯ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಗುರುವೇ ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಮನವನ್ನು ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸಲು ಎನಿತು ದಾರಿ ಇರುವುದು. ಮನವನ್ನು ನಿಗ್ರಹಿಸಲು ಎನಿತು ದಾರಿ ಇರುವುದು. ಶ್ರೀರಮಣ ವಿಚಾರ ಪಥದಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ದಾರಿ ಬೆರೆಗುವುದು. ಶ್ರೀರಮಣ ವಿಚಾರ ಪಥದಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ದಾರಿ ಬೆರೆಗುವುದು. ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತ ಹಾಡಿರಿ. ಜಯ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಗುರುವೇ ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತ ಹಾಡಿರಿ. ಜಯ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಗುರುವೇ ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ರಮಣ ಗುರುವು ತೋರಿದ ಈ ಕಿರಣ ಪತತಿ ಸಾಗಿರೆ. ರಮಣ ಗುರುವು ತೋರಿದ ಈ ಕಿರಣ ಪತತಿ ಸಾಗಿರೆ. ಅಜ್ಞಾನದ ತಮವ ಸೇರಿ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ನೆಲೆ ಸೇರಿರಿ. ಅಜ್ಞಾನದ ತಮವ ಸೇರಿ ಬೆಳಕಿನ ನೆಲೆ ಸೇರಿರಿ. ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತ ಹಾಡಿರಿ. ಜಯ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಗುರುವೇ ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ರಮಣನೆ ಜಯ ಎನ್ನುತ್ತ ಹಾಡಿರಿ. ಜಯ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಗುರುವೇ ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಜಯ ದೊರೆಯೇ ಜಯ ಗುರುವೇ ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಜಯ ಪರವೇ ಎನ್ನಿರಿ. ಓಂ ನಮೋ ಭಗವತೆ ಶ್ರೀ ರಮಣಾಯ.
Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. After Bhagwan reached Arunachala, he was a boy of 17 when he reached Arunachala. After that, he was staying in the temple for some time and in and around the streets of Arunachala temple for some time, and then later he went to Virupaksha cave. When he was in Virupaksha cave, the great saint Vasishta Kavyakantha Ganapati Muni went to him for asking him for the highest peace, highest truth. He had done crores and crores of japas. He had read all the shastras. He had done whatever had to be done, but he didn't get peace of mind. He was yearning for the ultimate knowledge. But then he realized there was a living guru required. There was a guru for him to guide him through the path. So Bhagavan gave him that darshan within him, and he ran in the burning sun, burning heat of Arunachala. He ran to Ramana and then fell at his feet. And after getting the Upadesha, look from where the thought arises and then merge at its source. Look from where the sound of the mantra arises, merge at its source. That is tapas, Bhagavan said. And then that immediate moment, Ganapati Muni had that anubhava of being in the self. And then he realized that this boy is not an ordinary boy. He asked, "Who is this young sage, young Swami?" to somebody who was there. And then that Swami said, "He's called as Brahmana Swami." So Ganapati Muni said, "He is not an ordinary person. He is the God of all gods. He is the Rishi of all Rishis. He is the sweet one. He is Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. He declared to the whole world that he is Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi and gave us all the lovely name, the wonderful, beautiful, sweetest name, Ramana. And he says, chant, sing, sing the glory of Ramana. What does it do? It gives us happiness, permanent happiness. What does it do more than that? How does it give permanent happiness? It removes all the sadness or any worries within us, and it makes us cross through this ocean of sadness, and then it brings us to the peaceful banks of that ocean. And he removes all the fear in the heart. Any kind of fear, the highest fear, that is death, also is removed by Bhagavan. What do we have to do? We have to just remember his name. Just remember him. He is the personification of Arunachala. He is the embodiment of Arunachala. So, they say Smaranat Arunachalam. Likewise, Muni here says, just think of Ramana, that itself is enough. Then what happens after that? Once we think of Ramana, the whole earth is filled with happiness. Mother Earth is in ultimate bliss. Why? Because our Ramana has come onto this earth. He has taken the form and he makes sure that all of us get his own state. When his pada falls on this earth, on Arunachala, what happens? The whole universe is in bliss. And he removes, as I said, he removes all the dukkha, vedane, everything from all of us, and then he shows us the ultimate truth. How? By saying that this body is not us. He shows the difference. He shows how to hold on to the self, leaving out this body. How to differentiate us from the body. And then, because of that Atma Shakti, we attain that Atma, that powerful self pulls us within. When the Guru pushes us from outside to within, the self pulls us into itself and destroys us. I present to you a Kannada translation of Kavya Kantha Ganapati Muni's song. The Kannada translation is by R.N.J. Gopal, music by Vijay Bhaskar. ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು ಪಡೆಯಿರಿ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದವನು ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು ಪಡೆಯಿರಿ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದವನು ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು ದುಃಖದ ಕಡಲ ದಾಟಿದ ಯೋಗಿ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ತೀರವ ಸೇರಿದ ಯೋಗಿ ದುಃಖದ ಕಡಲ ದಾಟಿದ ಯೋಗಿ ಶಾಂತಿಯ ತೀರವ ಸೇರಿದ ಯೋಗಿ ಹೃದಯದಿಂಭಯವ ನೀಗುವ ಯೋಗಿ ಹೃದಯದಿಂಭಯವ ನೀಗುವ ಯೋಗಿ ರಮಣರ ನೆನೆದು ಧನ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು ಪಡೆಯಿರಿ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದವನು ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು. ಭೂಮಿ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಭಾವಾನಂದ, ಭಗವಾನ್ ರಮಣರ ಅವತಾರದಿಂದ. ಭೂಮಿ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಭಾವಾನಂದ, ಭಗವಾನ್ ರಮಣರ ಅವತಾರದಿಂದ. ಸೋಕಲು ಅವರ ಪಾದಾರವಿಂದ, ಸೋಕಲು ಅವರ ಪಾದಾರವಿಂದ. ಅರುಣಾದ್ರಿಯಲಿ ದಿವ್ಯಾನಂದ, ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು. ಪಡೆಯಿರಿ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದವನು, ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು. ಜಗದ ವೇದನೆ ಕಳೆಯುವರಂತೆ, ಸತ್ಯದ ದರ್ಶನ ತೋರುವರಂತೆ. ಜಗದ ವೇದನೆ ಕಳೆಯುವರಂತೆ, ಸತ್ಯದ ದರ್ಶನ ತೋರುವರಂತೆ. ದೇಹಕ್ಕೂ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೂ ಇರುವ ಭೇದವ, ದೇಹಕ್ಕೂ ಆತ್ಮಕ್ಕೂ ಇರುವ ಭೇದವ. ಆತ್ಮದ ಬಲದೆ ಕಂಡವರಂತೆ, ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು. ಪಡೆಯಿರಿ ನಿತ್ಯಾನಂದವನು, ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು. ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು, ಭಜಿಸಿರಿ ರಮಣರ ನಾಮವನು. Namo Ramana. We will now have the reading and sharing from the book Ramana's Muruganar by Sri Nandakumarji.
Namo Ramana. In this, the book reading segment of our satsang, we have been reading from the book Ramana's Muruganar, Birth Centenary Celebration and Offering by Ramanacentre Center for Learning, edited and compiled by our founder president, Sri A.R. Natarajanji. Here we are in the account of Michael James, who has entitled his account as Muruganar and Sadhuvam. Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam. Michael James, of course, has spent years with Sadhuvam Swamigal. We pick up where we stopped last time, where Sadhuvam had written 2 poems on Muruganar, on his passing or on his absorption in Bhagavan. The great love and high regard which Sri Sadhuvam had for Sri Muruganar can clearly be seen in all his Tamil prose writings about Muruganar, selections from which have been compiled, translated and included in this book, that is Ramana's Muruganar, under the title Sri Muruganar, the right hand of Sri Bhagavan. That was by Sadhuvam Swamigal. But perhaps his love can be found expressed most poignantly in 2 verses which surged in his heart during the night after Sri Muruganar left his physical body. In the first verse, addressing the contemporary world, which had failed to understand the greatness of Sri Muruganar, he sang, "The cuckoo who sang in your midst for 83 years with a sweet voice of cultured, spiritual, ancient Tamil has gone, flying off into the great space of Sri Ramana, the exalted treasure of tapas with which the world has been blessed. What will you do now?" He seems to be ridiculing the rest of the world for having missed the opportunity to make the best of Muruganar's presence. But however, of the devotees who have been grieving his loss, in the second verse, addressing and consoling those Ramana Bhaktas who had true love for Sri Muruganar, he sang, does Muruganar mean the four-cubit body? O you who have love for Muruganar, who is Muruganar? Know that Muruganar is only the eye of self-knowledge given by Annamalai Ramana, the ancient Shiva. We continue. Many great qualities of Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam can be pointed out to show the way in which they both exemplified in their lives how a true disciple of Sri Bhagavan should live in this world. But perhaps the most important such quality is the fact that in spite of their supreme spiritual attainment, they both steadfastly refused to assume or accept outwardly the role of Guru, and they both insisted to whomsoever came to them that Sri Bhagavan alone is worthy to be accepted as Guru by his devotees, and that no intermediary is necessary between him and his devotees. Sri Sadhuvam quotes Sri Muruganar as once expressing his own experience, saying, devotees need not worry. Sri Bhagavan, who is the ocean of Amrita, which is the fullness of grace, himself has direct contact with each of his devotees in the heart without the need of anyone to mediate or intercede in the middle. I'll read that again. Devotees need not worry. Sri Bhagavan, who is the ocean of the Amrita, which is the fullness of grace, himself has direct contact with each of his devotees in the heart, without the need of anyone to mediate or intercede in the middle. Sri Ramana Jnana Bodham, Volume 3, page 12. As Sri Sadhuvam used to say, Sri Bhagavan is the bright sun of Jnana, who is always and everywhere shedding the clear light of his grace upon all. So if we rise between him and his devotees with the feeling I can help and guide others, we will only be obstructing the free flow of his light and casting a shadow upon those whom we seek to guide. And hence, the best help we can do for others is not to rise as a separate individual, but only to subside in the heart and thereby merging and losing ourselves in Bhagavan's light. The lives of Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam truly exemplified in the most perfect and refined manner the truth taught by Sri Bhagavan in verse 269 of Guruvachaka Kovai. The verse is quoted in the translated form. Know decidedly that the proper Guruship is only the exalted true discipleship, the steadfastness of the self-experience, which is the fountain of supreme devotion that springs forth due to the extinction of the ego, I, in the light of the state of silence, which is Brahman. So, what is Guruship in Bhagavan? It is to be the ever-present discipleship. Know decidedly that proper Guruship is only the exalted true discipleship, the steadfastness of self-experience, which is the fountain of supreme devotion that springs forth due to the extinction of the ego in the light of the state of silence, which is Brahman. Therefore, we should understand from the example set by Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam that no true disciple of Sri Bhagavan will ever agree to allow any devotee to take him, that is himself, as Guru, and that the greatest help we can do to guide others is to efface ourselves totally, outwardly living as simple, humble, and unassuming devotees of our Supreme Sadguru, Sri Ramana Bhagavan. Because they had both emptied themselves of all the traces of I and mine, Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam were able to receive the grace of Sri Bhagavan in fullest measure, and thus they had attained firm abidance in the state of self-knowledge. However, what distinguishes these two great Jivan Muktas from among the other devotees of Sri Bhagavan And what makes them especially important to us is not merely the fact that they have attained self-knowledge. For countless must be the devotees who have attained self-knowledge by the grace of Sri Bhagavan. There is a quotation from Ramananjali. Because the ever unborn self has taken birth in the form of Sri Bhagavan, Sri Ramana Bhagavan, many of the ever undying egos have died. Sings Sri Muruganar in one verse of Sri Ramana Anubhuti. Because the ever unborn self has taken birth in the form of Sri Ramana Bhagavan, many of the ever undying egos have died. Sings Sri Muruganar in one of the verses of Sri Ramana Anubhuti. But most of those who have thus attained self-knowledge by Sri Bhagavan's grace will ever remain unknown to the world. Therefore, what makes Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam especially important to us, the devotees of Sri Bhagavan, and what makes us revere them so highly, is not only the fact of their self-realization, but is also the fact that we can derive immense benefit from their realization. That is, because they have both been selected by Sri Bhagavan to act as pure instruments of His grace. He has utilized the egoless mind, speech, and body of each of them in a special and unique way in order to bestow upon the world of spiritual aspirants a rich treasure house of spiritual writings which provide us with clear guidance, encouragement, consolation, and help in an infinite variety of ways to enable us to follow the twin paths of self-enquiry and self-surrender with greater ease, earnestness, devotion, clarity, steadiness, and sure-footedness. That's a very complex sentence, so let me read it again. Bhagavan has utilized the egoless mind, speech, and body of each of them, both Muruganar and Sadhuvam, in a special and unique way in order to bestow upon the world of spiritual aspirants a rich treasure house of spiritual writings, which provide us with clear guidance and encouragement, consolation, and help in an infinite variety of ways to enable us to follow the twin paths of self-enquiry and self-surrender with greater ease, earnestness, devotion, clarity, steadiness, and sure-footedness. The rich legacy of spiritual writings left behind by Sri Muruganar and that left behind by Sri Sadhuvam has each a very distinctive flavor of its own, both in content and in style. But when we read the writings of both of them, we find that each is complementary to the other. Though perhaps nowadays there are only a few among the devotees of Sri Bhagavan who have gone deeply into their writings, most of which are in the form of beautiful and powerfully expressive Tamil poetry. In course of time, these writings will come to be treasured by all the true devotees as an invaluable part of the great spiritual heritage which Sri Bhagavan has bestowed upon the world. The writings of both of them are so rich in content, so deep in meaning and bhava, and so powerful in expression that a time will come when both Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam will be widely recognized as being among the foremost sages of the world, worthy of a reverence no less than that due to the other great Tamil poet saints such as Manika Vachakar, Tirunjana Sambandar, Appar Swamigal, Sundaramurti Nayanar, Arunagirinathar, and Thai Manohar. I'll read that again. The writings of both of them are so rich in content, so deep in meaning and bhava, and so powerful in expression that a time will come when both Sri Muruganar and Sri Sadhuvam will be widely recognized as being among the foremost sages of the world, worthy of a reverence no less than that due to the other great Tamil poet saints such as Manika Vachakar, Tirunjana Sambandar, Appar Swamigal, Sundaramurti Nayanar, Arunagirinathar, and Thai Manohar. But because of our closeness to them in time, it is difficult for us, for our present generation, to appreciate fully the immense spiritual stature of these two self-effacing devotees and the real worth of their rich poetic outpourings. Just as it is difficult for a person standing close to the foot of a huge mountain to appreciate the real height and size of that mountain. Only future generations of Ramana Bhaktas, seeing from a distance in time, will be able to appreciate fully what a great boon Sri Bhagavan has bestowed upon the world in the form of this rich legacy of spiritual writings left by Sri Muruganar